Let's talk about Robert Saleh. What is Robert
I,
Saleh's New Year's
I got it.
resolution?
Robert, we don't know each other, but I'm talking directly to you. Iggy really admires you. And from what I know about you, from what he says, and from what I see, you're a terrific defensive coordinator. But here's the deal, you want to be a head coach. You want to be a head coach next season. Your New Year's resolution has to be this: get good offensive people today.
Mhm.
Because here's what's going to happen in your interview. I know about this. They're not going to ask you about your defense.
Yeah.
They know how good you are. They know you're connected, that you can bring people over maybe from the Niners or from other places. They're going to say, who's your offensive coordinator? Who's your quarterback's coach? And
That's
you're going
it.
to have good names. You're
Mhm.
going to have talk to people behind the scenes, whoever they are, and you're going to have commitments from them. And you're going to have to say, I got this one, I got this one. You don't want to pull a Vic Fangio. He's as good a defensive coordinator as you. He
Mhm.
went over to Denver. He didn't have anything in the way of offensive coaches. His team stinks and he's going to get fired. That's what's going to happen. You don't want to pull a Vic Fangio. So I'm saying you deserve this head coaching job, but you got to go in there and say, this is my offensive coordinator, and he's at the same level as I am in what he does. And here's my quarterback coach. Here's my running back coach. And if you can't convince them that you have a grade A staff, you don't deserve to get fired, to get hired.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dad. Because I think Vic Fangio is the perfect comparison. As much as I respect Robert Saleh, I respect Vic Fangio as much or more. He's more experienced. He's been doing it longer than Saleh, and he's just as good as a defensive coordinator. But he's failing and going to get fired because he didn't have an offensive coordinator he could bring with him. He brought Rich Scangarello, not good enough. And
No,
so is Saleh gonna bring one of these guys from the Niners? He might. I'm guessing his off. I don't know. I have no idea. He has not told me, and I haven't asked. But I'm guessing he would bring Mike McDaniel, who's about Kyle's age and has been with Kyle every step of the way and might be the brains behind the running game. And if you bring that solid defense and that McDaniel run game, that'll help out any quarterback. But still, who's the quarterback coach? Who's his personal caddy? Who's going to make sure that that guy develops his footwork and his throwing motion and all of his stuff? It's not McDaniel. It's not Saleh. It's a very important person, and you got to have a name for that. I don't know who it is. And if you don't get hired, it's going to be because they're going to take an offensive coach who has a great. I mean, when you didn't get the job last year at Cleveland, it's because of this, because they went for a guy who was an offensive coach who they felt would have a greater impact on Baker Mayfield than you would, and they have a winning record. So this is what you got to, that's the only thing you got to address, Robert.
in your interview, you're going to have to convince people that you are all over the offense and that it will improve.
Right.
And you have the correct personnel in your coaching staff. And if you can't convince them of that, you don't deserve the job.
Right, because every other question you're gonna nail. Any question about defense, any question about big picture roster building and football philosophy, you're great in interviews. But there's no charming political way to answer who's your offensive coordinator. You just got to have a name, and it has to be a good one.
Yeah.
Period.
So that's your New Year's resolution, Robert. And we wish you all the best.
Yeah, and if you're looking for an offensive coordinator, I'm an up and comer. I'm just throwing that out there.